welcome back to the East Health TV. This video was created from an article on our health website. I'll drop the link to the article in the description box. After watching, please ensure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And please do come back for more. See you
Welcome to
soon.
this explainer. Picture this. You've just crushed a massive, incredibly delicious meal. You sit back, relax, and out of nowhere, boom, your heart starts pounding like a drum in your chest. It's terrifying, right? But it's actually super common. Today, we're putting on our detective hats to figure out exactly what triggers heart palpitations after eating, and more importantly, how to stop them. So let's just dive right into the core mystery here. Why does your heart race, or skip a beat, or flutter the second you clear your plate? Is it the food itself, how much you ate, or something else entirely? Well, before we solve it, let's quickly nail down what we're actually dealing with. All right, baseline terminology. Palpitations. This is that really unsettling, sudden awareness of your own heartbeat. It might feel like it's racing, maybe it skips a beat, or it just pounds aggressively in your chest, your neck, or even your throat. Now, most of us get this every now and then. Totally harmless. But if it's happening every time you eat, yeah, we need to investigate that. Section 1. The scene of the crime. Let's look at your body right after a meal. To crack this case, we've got to look at the physiological domino effect that kicks off the second you swallow. First, your blood literally redistributes. It rushes away from other areas and heads straight for your gut to help digest that food. Second, your vagus nerve fires up, which activates your autonomic nervous system, directly controlling your heart rate. Third, hormones like insulin start wildly fluctuating. And finally, mechanical pressure. A full stomach physically blows up like a balloon, pushing up against your diaphragm and crowding your heart like a packed elevator. Moving on to Section 2, the suspects. Food and drink triggers. Now that we get the internal mechanics, let's talk about the dietary suspects that throw this whole system completely out of whack. Think about a standard, balanced meal versus crushing a plate of high-carb, sugary food. A normal meal gives you steady digestion and a normal insulin release. But gorging on simple carbs? That causes rapid glucose spikes. Your body panics, pumps out massive amounts of insulin, and releases gut hormones like GIP that actually dilate your blood vessels. And here's the crazy part. If you release too much insulin, your blood sugar can suddenly crash. That's a condition called reactive hypoglycemia. When that happens, your brain hits the panic button, dumps stress hormones like adrenaline into your system, and absolutely sends your heart into overdrive. And it's wild how some of our other primary dietary suspects uniquely mess with your cardiovascular system. Fatty and fried foods, they take forever to digest, slowing down stomach emptying, which extends that physical stretch on your diaphragm and makes acid reflux way worse. Caffeine and alcohol directly chemically spike your heart rate. Fizzy drinks bloat you up and physically stretch the stomach. And get this, even ice-cold beverages can trigger palpitations because the freezing temperature directly stimulates your vagus nerve and irritates your esophagus. Section 3. The accomplices. Hidden medical conditions. Sometimes those food triggers aren't working alone. They've got hidden accomplices. Underlying medical conditions making your heart way more vulnerable to that post-meal pounding. Take GERD, for example. Stomach acid creeps up and directly irritates the heart's next-door neighbor, the vagus nerve. Or structural issues, like a hiatus hernia, where the stomach literally bulges up into your chest cavity and physically squishes the heart. We also see diabetes causing major blood sugar swings, thyroid disorders making your heart hypersensitive to adrenaline, and POTS, a syndrome where your heart has to race just to compensate for all that blood rushing down to your gut. Section 4. The red flags. Knowing when to call for backup. Okay, real talk for a second. While a post-meal pounding heart is usually totally harmless, we need a quick tonal shift here. If your palpitations come with chest pain, severe shortness of breath, fainting, persistent dizziness, or a dangerously fast heart rate, stop the home investigation immediately. These are major clinical red flags. You need to seek emergency medical care right away, because these could indicate a heart attack, heart failure, or a serious abnormal rhythm. Section 5. Cracking the case. Let's talk prevention and action. So, assuming you've been cleared of any serious conditions by your doctor, how do we actually fix this? Let's use some highly actionable everyday tweaks. The absolute best rule of thumb to stop that physical pressure on your heart and prevent those crazy insulin spikes is simple portion control. Just stop eating huge, heavy meals. If you transition to smaller, more frequent portions, your stomach never overdistends and your blood sugar stays nice and stable. Next up, you've got to fight the urge to take that post-dinner nap. You really need to wait at least 2 to 3 hours before lying down. By staying upright, you're letting gravity do the work. It keeps your food down and stops acid reflux from creeping up your esophagus and irritating that super sensitive vagus nerve.
Now here's a really fascinating tip from the research. Try separating your liquids from your solid foods. Ideally, wait about an hour after eating before you chug a bunch of water. Splitting up your hydration from your meals stops your stomach from rapidly expanding, which keeps all that unwanted physical pressure entirely off your diaphragm and your heart. Finally, whatever you do, do not ignore the basic lifestyle tweaks. Something as incredibly simple as loosening your belt or wearing looser clothes around your waist can drastically cut down on abdominal pressure. Maintaining a healthy weight does the exact same thing. And seriously, do not sleep on, well, sleep. Getting 7 to 8 hours a night, plus managing your daily stress, are proven ways to keep your autonomic nervous system balanced, calm, and keeping those random palpitations completely at bay.
Armed with this knowledge of your physiological triggers, the usual dietary suspects, and a few super simple preventative habits, you now have the power. You get to decide how your body reacts. So, what's it going to be? Will your next meal be an alarming medical mystery or a calm, perfectly digested success? That choice is entirely on your plate. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.
Please subscribe.